So I'm pretty freaking excited because I get to see Paul McCartney in concert in Salt Lake City this summer. Our seats are going to be on the side, so it will be an awkward angle for old guy perving, but that's okay, because I can old guy perv on Paul McCartney from anywhere. He is, after all, the leader of my imaginary old guy harem. This, of course, consists of Paul, Robert Plant, Ringo Starr, Jeremy Irons, Dustin Hoffman, the cranky old guys from the Muppets, and Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. But why is Paul so much more awesome than the rest of those guys? It's not just because he looks like Angela Lansbury, but that clearly bumps a dude's awesomeness by at least 12 points. If you're a dude who looks like Betty White, it's 15 points. But he was also part of this silly little band known as the Beatles. The Beatles had a bunch of ludicrous accomplishments. They sold a buttload of albums. I think that's actually the technical term. They invented sexiness. It was George's idea. They revolutionized the best of hairdos, the bowl cut. They grew some sweet mustaches. They wrote songs with incredible social significance, but with titles like Piggies and Everyone's Got Something to Hide Except Me and My Monkey. They starred in Help, the premise of which is an oddball religion wanting to sacrifice Ringo and the guys having to save him from them. It features Paul being shrunk and walking around nearly naked on the floor, George trying to strangle John during a fight with the bad guys, John hiding by laying on the ground and hiding his head, someone masquerading as a sandwich and attacking Ringo. Come on, this is Oscar material, guys. Then there was their other Oscar material film, A Hard Day's Night. John plays with toys in the bathtub in that movie. George teaches someone to shave by shaving a mirror. Ringo throws darts at sandwiches. And Paul ends up not being recognized just because he's wearing a bowler hat. That is amazingness, my friends. Steven Spielberg wishes he directed A Hard Day's Night. Then, of course, they have the distinction of being the best band ever. So good that I judge people if they don't like the Beatles. I've also long contended that he doesn't like Ringo Starr is a perfectly acceptable reason not to befriend somebody, because they're clearly crazy if they feel that way anyway. And one of the biggest things that people say about Paul McCartney is that he only wrote silly love songs. But that's not true. Look at Helter Skelter, a song that scares the bejesus out of old people, and me. Let's face it, I'm just dentures and actual years away from being 90 anyway. He wrote Wild Honey Pie, which is the best way to creep random people out on the street. It was also either caused by a drug use or pixie stick overdose type of situation. I don't know what he did when he came up with that song. Then, of course, there's Eleanor Rigby, which is more depressing than the book Everybody Poops. And, of course, his biggest distinction is that he wrote the song Michelle for me, even though I wasn't born yet. He knew I was coming. He just was confused and thought I'd be French. It was a pixie stick overdose again, I think. But he also recorded great music with Wings and all by himself. I mean, he's Paul McCartney. He could play the geography book while singing a song about safety pins and ketchup, and it would deserve Grammys. And plus, you know, he still has a baby face at 67, nearly 68. They could put his face on a Gerber jar. It would be kind of creepy because middle-aged women would be making out with jars at the supermarket. Usually just the paper towel aisle sees that, you know, because they want to make out with a brawny man. But he's an adorable old man, a legend, an absolutely amazing songwriter and musician, and anyone who was a part of recording these 4 albums, Sgt. Pepper's, Revolver, Rubber Soul, and Help, is just absolutely amazing. I mean, they win at life immediately. They could sit on their couch eating Cheetos for the rest of their lives and they'd be fine. They'd already reached self-actualization. So in summary, it won't be the same as seeing the Beatles, especially since Ringo and George are actually my favorites, but I have to say I absolutely hate everyone who got to see the Beatles live. But as soon as Paul comes out, I will promptly hyperventilate and throw a gigantic bra on stage. And if he plays this anthem for me, Michelle, I don't know what I'll do. But I worry for the safety of the audience members around me if he does play that song. And like my mom said about me going to the concert in general, you are so going to cry. Thanks, Mom. Thanks. And it's true.